The floor is yours.
Jason, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Well, we'll get started. Thank you everyone for joining us for our consent order Q1 report and general public meeting. Just a quick introduction. We have Jason Waterbury, Assistant Manager of Engineering, Jeff King, who's managing our diversity and workforce development program to provide our quarterly updates. Again, previous meeting, we provided our quarterly report and also annual report on our integrated plan and consent order. Next quarterly report will be our second quarter report, and the plan is to make that presentation on September 11th, 2025. At the end of the meeting, we'll have opportunity for general public comments and questions. Moving forward, I will turn it over to Jason. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. The first slide that we're showing here is a refresher as to what the geographic area is for the North Hartford pilot program. As you may recall, the projects in this program include sewer and lateral repair and rehabilitation projects, as well as sewer separation projects. On subsequent slides, I will go into more details as to statuses and progress since the last update meeting. Photos on this slide are from 2024 and 2025. And again, there'll be more progress photos on future slides. This slide is required per consent order. It outlines the items that we were required to cover in our consent order for these meetings. This is a repeat. There are no new items requested by the Commissioner Deep for this particular update. So it's just items 1, 2, and 3 that we are reporting on. This slide shows a status update through the end of Q1 of 2025 for all of our consent order projects. Only one project changed phase compared to Q4 of 2024. That is the private property work for the Westland Garden area, as that private property work has now started and is now considered in construction. The Windsor Street Phase 1 project has not yet started construction, but as of the end of Q1, however, as a preview to our next meeting, it is now in construction now in Q2 of 2025. The purpose of this slide is to present an update on 2 different projects that were shown on the prior slide. One is the Windsor Street project, and the other one is our 18-inch to 21-inch brick project. Speak first to the Windsor Street project. As I mentioned previously, this project was split into 3 different phases, mainly because of utility conflicts. And speaking to that part of the item on the agenda is the 2 photos on the right-hand part of the slide. As part of the design of our storm drain project, we did some test pits along the corridor of Windsor Street and Main Street to confirm some utility conflicts, and we did, in fact, confirm that these ducts are in our way of our new storm drain. So it did give us more meat to our phase 2 of our program that's going to be starting up. Phase 1 is the sewer rehabilitation work. That is starting in Q2 of 2025. So you'll see a lot of activity on Main Street and Windsor Street over the next couple months. And then it's going to include laying a bypass pipe so that we can line the large sewer that goes down that corridor. Phase 2 is going to start in Q4 2025. That will include relocations of existing utilities, as well as eventually a water main project, which is relocation of a water main so we can get our new storm drain in. And then approximately a year later will be the start of the storm drain project, which is obviously the one that everyone's waiting for. That will begin at the end of Windsor Street on Sanford Street and continue all the way up to Main Street at Cleveland. The second project on this slide is the 18-inch brick project. That project started off as the rehabilitation of 52,000 feet of 18-inch brick throughout Hartford. It was divided into 2 parts, like I mentioned in our last meeting. The first part is in construction right now, and the second part will be advertised for construction bids this month. Through the second part, we will have about 83% of that 52,000 feet covered, and that will be done by our consent order milestone of July 1st, 2026. However, as part of the design of Part 2, we did identify approximately 9,000 feet of sewer repairs that cannot be done without relocating existing utilities or relocating the sewer. So we didn't feel that fit into the normal sewer rehabilitation project, and we're now proceeding with that design. One of the examples of those conflicts is shown on the lower right-hand part of the slide. The green aspect in the middle, on that green highlight, is the existing combined sewer. The red on top to the top part of that is an existing electrical duct, and the orange is an existing communications duct. Those ducts are either right on top of or right up against our combined sewer, so it makes it virtually impossible to do a repair to that existing pipe. So we will be proceeding with a design to relocate items like that or relocate our sewers so that we are away from those existing utilities. Both of these projects, the Windsor Street and 18-inch brick, will require extensions to the milestones that are in the consent order right now. So over the course of the next couple months, as we finalize those schedules, we will be having that discussion with DEEP to modify those 2 milestones. This slide shows some photos from 24 and 25. Lower left-hand corner is sewer rehab work in the Gully Brook area. And then in the middle is a lateral point repair in the North Meadows area, with the purpose of this slide just being, giving a visual as to what types of work we have going on as part of this program. This slide shows before and after, or more like a before and during, for a sewer separation on the Woodstock Branford project. On the left-hand side, you can see the existing roof leaders going into the concrete foundation. And then below that, you have the after picture, which is now they are separate and going into the ground with new white pipes. And then you've got on the right-hand side a picture of what a house like that looks like before the earth is put back over the pipes, with the 3 separate pipes coming out of the house and going to a new storm lateral outside on the street. This slide is showing our CSO reductions per project by neighborhood per our consent order. The projects highlighted in green again are the ones that have been completed. Since there was no projects that were completed in Q1 of 2025, the progress to date has not been updated on this slide. This slide shows our non-consent order work. One of the key things is, I'll point out first, the sewer rehab work in Q1. We did only do 3,000 feet of lining work in Q1 of 2025, which I know it's middle of June and may be hard to think back to it, but January, February were really, really cold. And it's really hard to do sewer lining work when the temperatures are below 35 degrees, 30 to 35 degrees. So that's why that footage is really low. So over the next couple months, you'll see that number jump up substantially. The sewer easement design project in Bloomfield is continuing on. We're still expecting that project to go to construction in 2026. Our easement clearing project is currently on pause as the contract was over in Q1 of 2025. We did advertise that project. We're in the process of actually executing and awarding that project. So when that project restarts, we will pick up where we left off in Newington with easement clearing and then move into Weathersfield next. This slide was a slide we added during our annual meeting. The purpose of this was to show, show all of the neighborhoods that we're touching in North Hartford, and with active construction being that orange color almost everywhere, and the green being completed. There aren't any changes as a slide from Q4 of 2024, as no projects in the right-of-way changed phase in Q1, but it does show that we are continuing to be pretty active throughout all of North Hartford, pretty much touching the entire north end. Now, as I toggle through on this slide, I'll provide some updates as to what's been done. Oh, I might have over-clicked, sorry. The first projects highlighted are the expedited sewer separation projects. They are Durham Street, which is complete, obviously, so is Woodstock Branford. Those are both complete from public and private work. And then the Westland Garden project is in construction now, as I mentioned before. Through Q1, that project, the water main work is complete. The sewer repair work on Love Lane is complete, and the sewer replacement work on the north side of Garden Street, north of Westland Street, has started. We also started the lateral lining work in Q1. And now the Windsor Street project is shown next. I did mention that on a prior slide that has been split up into 3 phases, with phase 1 going into construction in Q2 of this year, phase 2 going into construction in Q4 of this year. The next project is the Tower Avenue area. That project was completed in 2024. Now we got the North Branch project area. That project is approximately 60% complete for the mainline lining, and about 28% of the laterals have been lined. So that project is, there's a lot of activity in the northwest corner there with that area. Again, that project will continue into 2026. And then the next project is the North Meadows area, which was the second project bid of those 3 large areas that I'm going through here. That project's about 15% complete for mainline lining, and approximately 80% of the laterals have been TV inspected. This is again through Q1, so these numbers are through the end of March. And the third one is the Gully Brook area, where we've lined about 10% of the mainline sewers. So the main line is the pipes in the street, and we've TV inspected about 6% of the laterals. That was the last project advertised, so that's why those numbers are a little bit lower than the other 2 projects. This yellow area, again, is the North Branch Park River drainage study area. I do have another slide dedicated purely to that, and I'll talk about that when we get to that slide. And then the purple is the Granby 7, 8, 9 area. That will also be discussed when we get to the North Branch Park River drainage area slide. This slide is a repeat from the last couple presentations. The purpose of this slide is to give property owners information as to how to participate in either the sewer backup prevention program or the sewer house connection program. Again, the contact information is on this slide, as well as the web links if you want to go onto the website and toggle around. This slide shows a house that was part of the sewer backup prevention program. Every house is pretty much different and unique, and really is an individual project for our utility services staff to figure out and solve the problems. But basically, this is the before and after one particular property, where you can see on the left-hand side an empty, open to the air backwater valve pit that likely surcharged, and then on the right-hand side that was been replaced by a new sump pump in a backwater in that pit, which then disconnected the groundwater sources from that house and also prevented that house from being susceptible to any backups. More pictures of work in our sewer backup prevention program. The picture on the left is a sink where we installed a new backwater valve to protect that plumbing fixture from backing up when the sewer is surcharged. The picture in the middle is a sump pump, similar to the one that I showed on that last slide. And the picture to the right is a sump pump discharge to the lawn. Now, if there is no storm drain lateral available to a property, when we do the separation work, one temporary solution is to discharge to the lawn like this, when it doesn't cause any issues to the lawn landscaping area. The purpose of this slide is to show our progress in the sewer backup prevention program with respect to properties that we reached out to in Q1. So if you look at Q1 and if you look back to Q4 of last year, we reached out to an additional 515 properties in North Hartford for the sewer backup prevention program. Of those 515 properties, we heard back from 79 properties, and 69 moved into the 69 proceeded with assessments and had improvements recommended and or completed. It is worth noting that, we're plugging along towards that goal of 1,500 properties with recommended improvements. We've gotten that number is now sitting at 609. That's 41% complete. We are actually, through Q1 of this year, 41% complete on time. So we're actually right on target if you compare time to the number of properties that we've worked on. This shows the properties that participated in either the backup prevention program or the house connection program. Again, that could be a simple property visit. It could be an inspection. It could be improvements recommended or even improvements completed. So this is really the properties that we touched as part of these 2 programs. The number 479 is right on par with what we did in quarter 4 of 2024. So that number did not change substantially. But again, going back to the last slide, we are pretty much on target overall. Now to move into projects outside of North Hartford, consent order projects. We've got, again, the 2 projects that have been completed already, 2 lining projects, and then we've got the 18-inch brick project, which is on this slide shown as parts 1 and 2. As I mentioned on a prior slide, the next presentation will show this as part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 through the end of quarter 1 was approximately 45% complete. A little slow in the winter, again, that those cold temperatures are not ideal to lining work. And then the last project shown on the slide is the tunnel project. That is still underway with the expectation to come online in late 2026. And the last one is the N30 project, which is a small CSO project that was completed in 2024. Now moving ahead to projects, consent order projects outside of Hartford. Obviously, the Bloomfield Styrene project is still a couple years out, so that has not started. The sewer rehab project in Bloomfield and North Branch Park River area that's been was completed in 2024. The West Hartford SCS project, which again is a very large lining project with approximately 105,000 feet of sewer rehab and about 2,000 properties having sewer laterals lined. Through the end of quarter 1, we had TV inspected and cleaned, which is the prep step for lining work, approximately 100% of all the mainline sewers. And we had done the same thing for about 55% of the laterals. So we're still on par and on target to complete the mainline work, which is the lining work for the sewers in the street, by the end of 2025, as that is the consent order requirement. Moving ahead to the North Branch Park River drainage study. So in quarter 1, the key highlights were that CDM Smith, which is the design consultant that was hired by the city and the district, did complete its report for the river recommendations that was submitted to the city. And then additionally, they submitted a draft preliminary design for the sewer separation work to both us and the city for review, and that report is currently under review by us and the city. Also in quarter 1, we started off, or actually in quarter 2, we've started working on an MOU between the city and the district, which will kind of lay out the expectations and schedules and groundwork for implementation of what comes out of those 2 reports. Obviously, the 2 impact each other, so that's we're working on that report. The goal would be once that MOU is signed and executed, then Granby 789 design would start up. This slide is a new slide. In similar fashion to a drainage study in the North Branch Park River area, which was done as a precursor to sewer separation designs, we are moving ahead with a drainage study throughout the rest of the city. The goal of that is to assess the existing drainage infrastructure and develop the recommended spine of the drainage infrastructure that is needed throughout the city to proceed with sewer separation work for CSO elimination and or control. The outline of that will then be used for sewer separation evaluation that we need to do as part of our next long-term control plan update. The drainage study field work has started, or will be starting in quarter 2 of this year. So you may see some crews in and about looking in manholes or looking in some of the drainage culverts around the city. The study itself will be done by the end of 2027. And the findings from that will then be incorporated into that long-term control plan update, which I mentioned. The long-term control plan update is due by the end of 2028. Again, another slide that's required under consent order. These are some key performance indicators district-wide, quarter 1 work. We are also showing program to date, and then for reference, what was done in 2024. The numbers on this slide are pretty consistent with what we did in 2024 as far as quantities in quarter 1. No real change there. However, when we go to the next slide, which is North Hartford, that's where you'll see some more changes. Pretty much every single KPI on this slide did increase compared to quarter 4 of 2024. And while the weather was not very good for construction. Because we had so much more activity going on in North Hartford, that's why those indicators increased. Of note, the footage for mainline rehab and the number of properties where we did lateral inspections, both of those numbers have doubled compared to quarter 4 2024. And then if you project out the rest of this year with 3 active contracts, plus not dealing with freezing temperatures, you're going to see those numbers continue to increase. As I mentioned on the prior slide, the one that had the green kind of highlighted projects with the CSO reductions by project, there weren't any projects that were completed in quarter 1 of 2025. So as a result, this slide did not change. We do only update this slide when a project is considered substantially complete. In similar fashion here, we've got the CSO reductions in the northeast corner of the city. Again, no projects were considered complete in 2025, so this slide did not get updated. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to Jeff.
Thank you, Jason. Good evening, everyone. Before we get into workforce development and contractor development, let's touch on outreach. Our outreach team does a great job in keeping the community informed. It's a critical component to the success of our projects. So we definitely encourage everyone to, be active. Come out to our outreach office located at 179 Barber Street. We're there Monday through Friday. It's fully staffed. It's a great location for people to come get information about the construction schedule, projects in their neighborhood. Even if you're a contractor or a person in the community looking for career development, our team there can help you with that. And our outreach team will just continue to keep people updated through mailings, doing door-to-door outreach, attending regular project meetings, attending local NRZ meetings. We do whatever we can to make sure we get the message out there and be available for people to ask questions. So to keep up to date with our projects, you can visit our website in addition to any job postings. Thank you. As far as what we were doing in Q1 of 2025, our strategy was to help scale the SBEs, MBEs, and WBEs, as you see. We continued with our clinics with our partners from Connecticut DAS, Apex Accelerator, NAWIC, and UHART. Those clinics helped contractors with the SAM.gov ID process, recertifying their business, as well as helping them with a capability statement this quarter. So we were really looking to help businesses learn how to better market themselves in addition to navigating the certification processes with the state. We also had a new partnership with HEDCO. We launched that for our growth initiative, helping scale the minority contractors who are qualified and capable of working with the MDC with their RFQs submitted. That goal is to get those contractors in a position where they can take on more MDC work and hire people from the community. So that's a great initiative. We'll be able to report on their results next quarter. In addition, as Jason talked about, each property being different and our utility services needing to go into each property to assess what work needs to be done. Our focus was helping smaller contractors work with the bigger contractors so they can continue to do great work on the backwater valve program, the house connection program. We even helped some of our new contractors work with our utility services department to become a good flagging company. So we'll continue to train and work with all the contractors that work for MDC so that we can have a uniformed quality across all of our customers. Thank you. So as far as our partnerships, we did some great. We had some great evolving partnerships, which gave us great community engagement and helped build out our talent pipeline. These are some of the key events in the community that we attended, and some of our education partners, and the results of what was done. So at Weber High School, we were able to provide OSHA training for some students there. We continued to work great with our partners at Pratt & Whitney and Ready CT at Harvard Public High School, really engaging in the engineering green technology students, trying to enrich that classroom experience so we can get more people interested in just the overall industry, whether it's wastewater or doing what Pratt & Whitney does. We attended some events such as Tri-Trade Tuesdays, Workforce Wednesdays, and we branched out to more career fairs at our member high schools so we could promote what we do at the MDC to more people. In addition, we tapped into our relationship with the technical schools. We took a visit down to Waterbury, and we met with the mechatronics and robotics program for one of the career pathways we want to develop, which is the instrumentation and control tech specialists, which are people working at the water treatment and wastewater treatment plants, and learning on how we run those systems that are fully automated. And we're looking to work with the schools to build out a continuing education program. So overall, we're doing great things. We've also attended some of the job fairs, whether they're with some of the networking partners we have, or just regular job fairs that we sign up with. We were able to do some more matchmaking. We actually got one of the high school graduates that attended that Rocky Hill event hired with BLD, who is one of our premier pipelining contractors. So we're just continuing to engage with the community and build more pipelines for employment. Next slide. So as far as our partnerships that are evolving, we're really seeing ourselves being able to build out a programs that we can scale and have some internal systems. So in Q1, we were able to continue with our Tri-Trade program. We took over 60 applicants. We weeded that down to 12 students who got accepted. We'll report on Q2 how that Tri-Trade event went. But we visited over 10 high schools. We engaged with the faculty, the staff, the counselors. We sat down with parents and really had a all hands on deck type of approach to get those 12 students. As far as the program from last year, you can see that we were able to hire 2 Hartford residents who are now full-time MDC employees working in our water treatment and wastewater treatment facilities. We kept 2 of those Tri-Trade students from the 2024 cohort as part-time employees, one working at Utility Services. And we really drilled down on engaging a summer program so that we can really maximize the opportunity for the students that are coming through the Tri-Trade system. So all exciting things. In addition to talking about those internal systems, we are looking to really help some of the residents who entered the construction on a flaggers level. We're looking to get some upward mobility so we can see how we can transition people from being flaggers into perhaps maybe getting their CDL or working for one of our MDC contractors. And again, we're teaming up with our education partners to have better access to students who want to come to the Tri-Trade event, students who are looking for summer internships, going to engineering schools, or just people that are looking to transition from maybe work that they're doing to one of our contractors. And so you can now review the metrics, as we always do. So we're doing a great job with our Hartford resident goal. We're maintaining that 30%. I won't go through all of those metrics that you see as far as totals, but the key notable things you can see is that we're hiring Hartford residents. We've expanded our new contractors. We've got one new contractor, Top Notch Flaggers, who is employing 5 people and is a Hartford resident. So that was great. It's outside of the backwater valve and house connection program. We're helping the contractors who are MBEs and WBEs scale underneath our backwater valve program. And as you can see, we are hiring students from our Tri-Trade event, and just overall, providing long-term employment to people in the community. So we're doing a lot of exciting things, and we'll be happy to report that in the next quarter. But we're also working with some key education partners, as you can see up there, doing things like continuing education with Goodwin University, where we can get people exposed to the wastewater treatment and operators courses, as well as the instrumentation tech career path line, and looking to really have a sustained pathway so we can bring people into the 5 divisions at the MDC, whether it's, utility maintainer or control tech specialist or, the various positions. So next slide. So as far as our Hartford resident goal, we were a tick down in Q1, but we're still keeping our trend above the 30%. So, as Jason talked about, weather can impact certain things, but we'll be monitoring that to make sure that we stay above that 30% goal. Next slide. And with projects completing and new projects starting, we're a little under on our W and MBE goals. But as you can see, when we started this whole project, different phases bring upon different work. So we'll see an uptick as we start getting into the heart of the projects. A lot of times you get women or minority businesses doing the landscaping, which is towards the end. So, we're seeing a little downtick on the MBE side. I'm sorry, we're seeing a downtick on the MBE and WBE. We're still above trend on our MBE, but we'll monitor that so we can get back up into trend. So, thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Just in closing, again, we have a link on our website as to how to stay informed for the projects in the North Hartford Pilot Program. One other way is to visit your local NRZ. We do have MDC staff attending those meetings frequently. And then our next consent order meeting is going to be the second Thursday of September, which is September 11th. And then just like this, each meeting is virtual, recorded, and a copy of this presentation is included on our website. With that, we'll open up to any comments or questions.
Elizabeth Tavelli, Independent Consumer Advocate. At the last quarterly consent meeting, I had asked a question regarding if there were certain properties where MDC was attempting to do work but was unable to do so for extenuating circumstances. You may recall some brief conversation on that subject. I did follow up and receive from John at MDC a list of factors that may delay or halt a program's proposed work in a customer's basement. I also did follow up and have a meeting with Rebuild Hartford Together that have indicated an interest in particular with regards to electrical issues, with plumbing issues, and with physical conflicts or obstructions at the property, and have expressed a willingness to work together with MDC to see if there is a subject property where they might be able to assist in providing gap funding to overcome those specific types of obstacles in the future. And I hope to work together with MDC to see if that's a partnership opportunity we can build on. And if there's certain properties that can, in fact, benefit from MDC Sewer House Connection Program work over the next quarter by utilizing that funding to overcome those particular obstacles. So I will follow up on that in addition, but thanks for the updates on the work so far.
Thank you. Is there any other comments from anyone online? Hearing none, I think the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.
Liz,